Men.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter Igaga, and this is the hottest show in the land. And by land, I mean both on sea and on Lake Victoria. Still land. As long as there's land, we are there. And we are the only show that makes your Tuesday night worth watching. So don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about something that touches everybody. And that is technically the sustenance of a relationship. What do you do beyond the sex? Because usually what happens when people meet, they have great sex, they form a bond, they decide that that's what's going to work, then it starts to kind of fade out. So what do you do to keep the relationship going? Now, we've only got men here because it's men who need to know. And I'm going to dive into it straight with you, Agaba. Okay. Mm-hmm. First of all, the way you're dressed today, like a lover boy.
I mean, it was suitable for the topic, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Because maroon, is this maroon or purple? I've been accused.
According to...
No, you're colorblind, Peter.
I've been accused of that.
Fact.
I've been accused. Yes. I don't agree. Yeah.
According to the brand, it's called wine red. Please. It's a little bit more sophisticated than maroon.
So what's the difference between wine red, burgundy, and maroon?
I think Peter is about to start speaking Lusoga.
That is great.
At your cover.
Anyway, Agaba, good to have you back again.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
There's a lot that goes into intimacy, and especially in sustaining a relationship.
Right.
Now, in your opinion, what would you say, at least let the men out there know, that women look for most to just keep the relationship going? Because some women have been known to like bad boys. So some guys believe the baddest boys have the longest relationships and they don't know why. And the good guys, Colin can attest to it, and the good guys are the ones who finish
He has come
last.
for me.
No, Colin.
Is that a fact?
Chris.
That's a very loaded question. I'll preface this by saying I've never liked the notion of being a spokesman for other men. So everything that I say just represents my thoughts and feelings, and I don't want anybody to adopt my behaviors out of obligation to feel like I'm giving them good or bad advice. I would say that what women want, in my opinion, is to know that you see them. Know that you understand their feelings. And what their feelings should tell you is that they just want you to be around them. They want you to want to be around them. Like you said, beyond the sex, beyond the physical intimacy of, what makes guys' hearts beat fast and, gets you, in erection and all of that stuff. It's about being there for her, just sitting next to her, having a conversation. Even if you're not even talking, just being in the same room with her, being in the same space with her, enjoying being with her, enjoying being around her. I think as your relationship matures, it's a lot more about what goes unsaid in those moments than having to express yourself in grand and fantastical ways. So I would say, I've been in married life now for 7 years, going on 8 years, and every year I learn something new. Not even every year, every week. Every time I have a conversation with my wife, she teaches me something new about what she wants and needs and everything like that. So all I try and do is listen, pay attention. The learning curve is steep. I don't get it right every time. But as long as I'm trying, as long as I'm making the effort, and as long as we understand that we're in this thing for the long haul, then we'll figure it out. But I like the idea of just being able to be with your person quietly, whether it be watching TV or reading a book in the same bed together. But knowing what's going on in her mind, what's going on in her heart, and being available to her. Should she need me, I'm right next to her being there, rather than me being out in the streets chasing fun and excitement. At my age, I have no need for what's out there anyway, because I've been there, done that. I've got the T-shirt. There's nothing that fulfills me out there anyway.
That's a wine red.
Do you have like a tattoo?
Sorry?
Like, do you have a tattoo of her on you?
Actually, I have a tattoo right here.
See how I guessed?
It says VA for Vanessa Agaba.
You see what others are doing.
You just stole the hyena's hand name.
I I dare a hyena to enter my
I
den.
wish a homie would.
I'll bite his jugular out of his neck. Trust me when I tell you. I wish he
Told
would.
you guys.
So, Colin.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I have no tattoos.
No, okay. Because there'll be way too many problems. Now, and I'll tell you where I'm going with this. There's this notion about the bad boy. And I'm just springboarding off what Agaba has said. Is it possible to always be a step ahead of your woman? Because I think the attraction of the bad boy is his unpredictability. So is it possible then to always be a step ahead so that you're not predictable? Otherwise you just become boring.
So these are the times when Chris would advise that if you check your Song of Songs, if you check the Bible, it tells you about how to love your partner and love them intimately.
Yeah.
But, since we don't live, 6,000 years ago, and it is what it is, we're in a world that's full of wicked men and big nyash. Because remember that it's not so much the prey, it's also the predator, right? So it's, and that's sort of the paradigm in which you see it. You see, when things were easy to hunt, people sort of just arrived and they had some land and they said, you come and live with us, you give us 6 children and you will be secure. Then the landscape evolved. Now you have to come smelling nice, wearing wine red, looking fresh.
With a tattoo.
Bruh.
Oh, man.
And so the hunter has to evolve. I want to say 2 things around this. I want to say the reason why people, generally in our society, why are bad boys so attractive? That's the first question. I think that bad boys are attractive because they're unpredictable. And that unpredictability creates excitement, right? The neurological response that bad boys create in people is this sense of excitement, because they also tend to be fearless. They're not afraid of physical aggression, and that creates this environment where on a night out with Peter, anything can happen, right? We'll be here and we'll end up in Ginger.
Why Peter?
No, I'm just saying,
all right.
you're not a bad boy. I mean, we all know you're a softie.
Thank you.
Yeah, but on a night out, anything can happen. And I think that excitement is what sort of feeds this energy. As you age, however, you find that this erratic, unpredictable energy also is seated in a disquieted soul. It means you're not able to sit down and read a book or just sort of enjoy the simple pleasures of life. And I think that therefore and so as you age, the things that give you peace become different. Because also you know that this erratic behavior can lead to consequences. People end up getting accidents, they end up getting hurt. Like you sort of just want to move away from that life, which is what he summarizes as, don't want to be out here in these streets doing all these things. You sort of temper and mellow. And that then leads into what we call boring, but actually is what's stable and what's good. I say that to then tie back into your question. I think that therefore, if you think about intimacy, the nature of intimacy changes as you age. Sometimes it's possible. It's possible that as you age, you're able to just sit there quietly. Just sit there quietly. A person, you're in the same room, no one is touching another one. It's fine. But also sometimes you can be touching. But it's just touching, right?
Yeah.
But I really think that the highest form of intimacy, like in the modern world in which you are, the highest form of intimacy is that you and your partner gossip. That one is so sweet. Peter, it's the sweetest form where you're just there, you're just like, have you seen Peter's stupid shiny head?
Oh, wow.
And your wife is like, but it's also about shared values. It's about humor. It's about you still have the ability to make your partner laugh. And I think those things are important.
Yeah.
But if you're a bad boy out in these streets and you're a wolf, you definitely have to stay ahead of
All right.
again.
Now, Faisal, you come from a different generation where you guys believe in instant gratification. And if it's not happening now, then it's not happening. In fact, you say if it's not on, then it's not. Okay, that's used for a different reason.
want you to
Okay,
finish
that's
that.
used for a different reason. If it's not on, then it's not on. But I mean, in this case, do you guys have any thoughts about sustaining a relationship which is beyond just sexual?
First of all, before I answer that question, Colin, you were talking about being spontaneous, not a bad boy. If I come, we're seated here, next minute, we're in ginger, us being spontaneous. I want people to understand that when they say a bad boy, they mean someone who hurts people. Like today I'm with you, tomorrow morning you find me with your best friend in bed. Tomorrow you find me with your sister. That's a bad boy.
That's a bad boy.
That's a player. I don't want to repeat that word. But it's not...
Uganda!
Guys, it's not something to be proud of. I've been there before. It's
As
useless.
in, you've been there before.
It's useless.
First tell us.
It's useless because
You look at Peter, the last time Peter had some good action, just look at him, feel pity for him.
no, let me not linger on that side of the topic because he's about to say we're going in a break. Now, you've asked me about intimacy and you've asked me whether we actually think about it or not. Now, we've grown up in a generation where a lot of relationships just start without you noticing. Like today you come, you take a girl out, you go and sleep. Tomorrow you wake up, you have boyfriend. You understand? She has made you your boyfriend. She has posted. They call it launching. So they've launched you
on Instagram,
Twitter, everywhere now. You wake up, she's like, oh my God, Colin, thank you so much, love of my life. Thanks for the date. Boom, you're now in a relationship. So that's the first problem with a lot of relationships in our generation.
Are you seeing the way Chris is looking at you?
I'm talking about other people's, not mine.
Do your thing.
So I think that's one of the reasons. So when you start something without a plan, you're never really going to know what to do. You get, because you had sex, it's a relationship. So I guess to stay in this relationship, let's just keep having sex. That's it. I bought you a gift. You now call me your boyfriend. So for me to stay your boyfriend, I'm probably going to
continue.
Just keep buying these things. Now, me, how I understand intimacy is I watch a lot of podcasts, I read a couple of books, and there's one podcast I listened to, and someone was talking about how workmates can be intimate with each other. So in my head, I'm like, wait, then I don't know what the definition of intimacy is. So I sat down to understand what's the definition of intimacy. And then I fell on a script of someone saying you can be intimate with God. Yeah? But this is why intimacy is not just about sex. One, there is a emotional intimacy. You get, when you go to God, you divulge everything, you confess, you tell him, oh, I woke up today, I thought about Peter's bald head, I'm not going to cut off my head, I thought about Spartacus's jokes, they're a bit funny, but not very funny. You tell everything to God. Yeah?
You're not going to heaven.
So, oh, is it true?
I don't know.
So take it back. So there's that bit of emotional intimacy. If you have it with someone, it's easy because I go back home. I know I'm not going to lie about where I've been. I know I'm not, okay, fine. Even if she doesn't believe me, I have evidence. Like, okay, get your phone, whatever. Get my phone, here is it. At least I'm going to try and make sure emotionally we are on the same plane. There's intellectual intimacy where you can piggy bank, bright ideas off each other. Now, me, I have this thing of most of the times when I get into a relationship, because I am learning from you, I am always learning from people. So I also want you to learn from me. So you'll have those sessions where we sit and I'm telling you about this very nice AI project that I'm working on. You may not understand it, but I'm still going to tell you anyway.
So you think she's a dumb chick?
No, I say it.
Okay.
I mean, your wife does not have to understand everything, but that doesn't mean you can't tell her about it. You get?
Because it's not just what you're telling her, it's also the energy and the shared
because
feeling
now for her,
and
she's going to see my excitement and be like, oh, Bambi, he's really passionate about this.
Important.
Probably if I'm getting him a birthday present, I'll buy a laptop. I hope my girlfriend is watching. I'll buy a laptop. Oh, a PS5.
A big fat laptop.
So there's emotional, there's intellectual, there's physical. And by physical, it doesn't really have to be sex. A hug, is physical intimacy. Holding hands is physical intimacy. These are things you can do with everyone. These are things you can do, in the church, in the mosque. But this is something you can also do with someone you're dating. Yeah, I think there are 4 or 5. There are a couple of types of intimacy. But what I'm trying to say is, a lot of the relationships now are starting with zero intimacy, because sex is not intimate. It doesn't define intimacy. Presence do not define intimacy. Intimacy for me is the deepest, sincerest feeling you have for someone.
Yeah.
If I wake up today, I use the shower, and I know the water on this floor is slippery, and she's sleeping, I'm going to squeeze it away. Even if I'm late, I will squeeze it away, because what if she comes and falls? She has never fallen,
that's the end of the
but in my head,
Yeah.
I know that let me just try and be sincere to this person. Let her come, find a dry bathroom, find the soap where it's supposed to be, find the toilet lid closed, because she likes it closed.
Yeah.
That's how I...
All right, now we do have to jump into a break, but when we come back, it's not me, it's good time, and it's a good thing. Chris, I'd want us to get off on the tangent. You're very big on marriage, 2 become 1. If 2 become 1, then does it mean I should fulfill my partner's intimacy the way I would want to be fulfilled? So basically what works for me should work for her. After all, we are one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. We're here at Sanga Chords talking about intimacy beyond the bedroom.
Men. Men.
Welcome back from the break. We're here at Sanga Chords having a discussion about intimacy beyond just the physical. How do you sustain it over time? Don't forget, we need to hear from you. Go to our socials. Our X handle is NTV_men, and the hashtag that is trending right now is hashtag NTV Men. Chris.
Peter, what's your question?
When people get married,
Yeah.
they become one.
Okay.
So does that make my life as a man very simple? Because we are one. What works for me then should work for her.
I've been listening to the conversation and I was tickled, at some point irritated, at some
But you
point
know.
bothered,
Yeah.
at some point I felt pity. At some point, because, and at some point I was excited, based on some of what I've had. The thing is that, and here's where Colin has a problem, because he says, all right, so we're going back to that big old book called the Bible. And most of the time he's like old school tradition, Colin being Colin, okay? Some old-fashioned things are absolutely critical. I mean, it's like oxygen. Every human being has been breathing oxygen from time immemorial, and if you change your mind, you're going to die. So there's certain things that are principles. They just are what they are. You cannot really understand love and intimacy. I mean, intimacy is just a facet of love. And God is love. So you sort of need to go back. I always like to go back to the original, to the root of a matter, because then you will understand the fruit. If you understand the root, if you have fruit you don't like, you feed the root. That's how farmers work, right? You give manure, you work the ground, and then you have better fruit. So we are having a conversation of intimacy beyond sex. And there's things like, okay, so a girl thinks that when you have sex with her, then you're now an item.
You've been launched.
You've been launched. No, you've not been launched. You launched yourself in her.
Jeez.
It's very simple. No, seriously. Because sex is the culmination of a journey. And so you've gone to the end, to the climax.
And
You have the climax and you're denying the process before. It's foolhardy. All right? So you launched yourself. And we can't, you sort of, you can't eat your cake and have it back. You can't have the most precious thing about a girl and you do not want her to have the most precious thing about you. It's a fair deal.
No.
Oh, yes. So, so for me, that's...
But Chris,
no.
Just a slight interjection
Can
here.
I just answer your question?
Oh, all right. Okay.
Or you want to ask another one?
Yeah, in line with that. And I'll tell you where, I mean, it's a choice.
What choice?
She decided. It's not like you took.
What if she was manipulated?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, because
Anyway,
might-
Peter, can I
Yeah,
carry
all
on?
right.
I'm on the wrong chair.
Colin. So, the thing about love is that love gives. The essence of love is it gives. So you're running either a demand-based economy or a supply-based economy. All right? When you're running a demand-based economy, it's about what about me? What about me? What do I get out of this? So
Which
you
is
ask the
what
kind
is
of question
happening
you
now.
ask,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is, can she just, since we're married, let me just have it my way. Let's do things the way I like them. That's demand. It's what you want. Supply is what Agaba talked about. It's not a natural thing for a man to sit with his wife and have conversation and be there for her. You're getting out of your way. It's unnatural, but that's supply. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was quite excited about. So then you find that love gives. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Wherever there is love, you find hands that are going that way, not grabbing. Love gives. It doesn't grab. Right? So we're talking intimacy beyond sex. Because that paradigm is saying, I've already got what I want. I took the precious jewel. So how do I keep it intimate? But she's like, I've been robbed. So she's like, so after I've been robbed, how do I secure myself? How do I lock in this guy who's taken everything of me?
Yeah.
So Peter, here's the thing. When you think about giving, there's a guy, Willard Halley. I talk about this quite a bit. He wrote a book, His Needs, Her Needs. All right? And this is research, tons of people, couples that were research done over a number of years. And you find that, yes, that when you're running a supply economy, as a guy, you have needs, and as a lady, she's got needs, right? So the thing is that when you are in a loving relationship, she's looking to supply your needs, and you're looking to supply her needs. All right? So for the ladies, it's affection, it's conversation, it's honesty, no lies, it's family support, being there for the kids, right? Stuff like that. And for the guys, our number one need, yes, is sex.
Yeah.
Especially in the confines of marriage, okay? Sex.
Even out. I mean, realistically.
Well, no, your realistic is not my realistic.
Musumba.
No, I am a Musumba, and I'm
as you are
telling
not
you.
married, number
No,
one
I'm
need
telling
can be
you.
going to
because
work.
because you guys
Eating a
sit here and
Rolex.
think that everybody is having sex out of marriage. Not everyone is doing that. Am I saying that there are people who are not having sex out of marriage? No, because he's just told you.
We're talking about the people in this room.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So for guys, for ladies, if you want to know, for most guys, especially if in a married relationship, and I want to say what I want to say, so you say your stuff whenever you want to say it. I'm saying mine. Okay. In marriage, so there's sexual fulfillment. That's a big one. Recreational companionship, just someone. So Colin talked about someone you laugh with, you have fun with.
gossip
Just
with.
okay, he talked about gossip, but it was just. I mean, it's just someone you have fun
Relational
with. So
intimacy.
if you are Man U fan or you like Formula One and stuff like that, as a guy, or maybe you like rally or stuff, someone who can come along with you, do stuff with you, is really important to guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
That is true.
So recreational companionship, a good-looking spouse. Men want to show off their wife to the rest of the guys. In the Bible, there's this king called Xerxes, who wanted, he had guests, so he threw a party, and he says, call the queen, I just want to show her off. And the queen said, I'm not coming. I also have a party in my palace. He fired her.
Yeah, you got
Okay, because it's like, look, I want to show you off. Every man wants to show off that. I mean, did you see when he says, VA, I got my, he's proud of her. So that and a few other things. So you'll find that if you lean into being a supply person when you're a giver in love, just like God, then you can't ask the question you asked Peter.
All right. Agam, obviously, we need to cool the temperatures down a little bit.
Is giving back shots.
Right.
Jeez. I don't think that's exactly what he said. Now, there's this notion that, and without just saying I've veered off what Chris has said, that ultimately a man is just looking for one thing. As long as he gets sex, then the rest falls into place. Is that true? Don't men need more than that?
Way more than that.
Yeah.
Way more than that. You need somebody who's going to align with whatever it is your purpose is in life. Sometimes you think about the life that you want to have within the context of having a partner who's going to work with you to achieve that. Sometimes you want somebody who's going to be a facilitator to take care of some of those things that you find to be inconvenient in your lifestyle. The organizing of your home, the things that you want to make sure are harmonious and peaceful while you're out there slaying dragons. You want somebody to be at home, taking care of everything, whether you have kids or not. You want somebody who's going to stabilize and be a source of peace in your home. So I think, again, for me, the things that motivate me within my life and what will continue to shape how I evolve as a partner in my own relationship will be, what are my priorities? What are the goals that I'm trying to achieve? And how will working with my spouse get me in that direction?
You know, I like the picture that you've painted. Very beautiful. Let's talk about fighting.
Yeah.
Is your person meant to be somebody you can fight with and still love?
Yes. As long as you fight fair.
There's no fair fight.
There are fair fights. Because sometimes conflict is necessary in order to reach a resolution. Sometimes I'm wrong, she's right. We need to have that conflict in order for me to be able to see the clarity and vice versa, right? If you're one of those people that fights dirty and you're just looking at your person as a punching bag or as a doormat to be walked on, then that's not the relationship that you need to be in.
But every man
for her or for yourself.
Every man loves to win.
Yes, we all love to win, but do you want to win at the expense of the person who you've chosen to be your partner in life?
Yeah.
I don't.
All right. Now we do need to get into a break. We are here at Sangha Courts talking about intimacy beyond just sex. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.
Men. Men.
And we are back, and we are here at Sangha Courts having a discussion about intimacy beyond sex. We need to hear from you. This is your show. Go to our X handle. It's NTV_men. Also, our hashtag is trending right now. Yes, it is. It is NTV Men. We need to hear from you. Faisal, there's a transactional bit about relationships that Colin hinted to just before the break. Basically, he said it's clear. Men need respect, all right? Women need security. Security in most cases comes in the form of money. So, do you guys believe that if there's no money, there's no love?
Let me start this conversation by saying, you married men are the reason why the women of today think the way they think. Because remember...
First, look at Chris. Look at Chris that side.
And let me start. Chris, these ones, not you. So let me start. Let me say why, yeah? So here's the scenario. There comes a time when you're at campus, I'll speak for myself. I'm a campus and I want to take someone out, but I can't. Because at that point in time, I don't even understand what intimacy is. Remember, we've been in boarding school for 6 years and now they've thrown us to the dogs. You don't know what intimacy is. My parents have never sat me down to talk about intimacy or love. I've had the conversation with my mom a couple of times because she's very involved in my life, but that's not how every other person's life is. So you get to this scenario, as a man, you've been told that you need to provide your whole time in school, your whole time at home. And then on the woman's perspective, they've told her that the man you are getting has to have money. These are facts. These are conversations we've had because I have been in certain spaces or around certain families where they're like, guy, if you bring a guy and he's this spend, please, we don't want. And this is something my religion is very against. But this is the trend that is there now. So we're at campus, these girls are there, we don't have money. What's going to happen? The married men with money are going to come. Mm-hmm. And this girl is going to look at this married man coming with money and assume he's married, he must be stable. He must know what he's doing. And also, he's not going to bother me a lot because he's married. He has someone who has his 9 to 5. I'll probably only see him over the weekend or any of this other stuff. Mm-hmm. So I will come as a married man. I wrap myself in money. I call money a wrapper. So I wrap it in money or a car, and then I push these things towards these ladies who have also been told from home that a man has to provide for you, a man has to take you out on a date, a man has to do this and this and that. The genesis of the problem is, from the start, no one seems to understand what love is. No one seems to understand what intimacy is, so the best they can do is preach what they think it is. Yeah. You'll be in a family setting and they tell you, yo, for us, if you're bringing a man, he has to bring 20 cows. What do you expect your daughter to do? She's going to go to campus, and in her head, if you do not have a Range Rover, she can't take you up because you cannot have 20 cows. You get? Let me finish.
This is very interesting. Yeah. Because Chris, I'm going to need you. I'll need you to finish in half a second because I need Chris to weigh in on this, on the issue of money. Because I like what Agaba said, again, it's very flowery and all that, but women love money. They really love money.
It is not their fault. When you grow up in a society that tells you black people are bad, by the time you're 20, 25, 30, you are going to think black people are bad because that's how racism was born. That's how slavery is born. That's why you'll go to some families right now that are watching me and you find the housemaid is seated down on the floor. She's watching NTV Men from the floor. Why? How is that ethically right?
But that's a whole.
You put the needle in the wound, and you're just.
What I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is this: if a preacher is good, his flock might probably turn out good. If a preacher is terrible,
for sure,
9 out of 10 times that entire flock is going to be trash. So the places we have learned about love, the places we have learned about intimacy were already flawed. So the view we come with is flawed. I kid you not, when I came to campus, Nana Hostel back then, in my head, I just wanted to have a car. I knew, Pfizer, once you get a car, you're going to get everything you have ever wanted. I got the car, my G.
It was kind of true.
I don't want to say anything, but I got the car. I didn't get everything I wanted. And I had to unlearn a lot of things. So I had to understand that if you really want to stay with someone for a very long time, you have to be as simple as you can. You have to understand someone from an atomic level.
Okay, Chris, money. He has hinted on something which is really, really true. Because that's what a lot of these girls are told.
So, Peter, Colin earlier said, men respond to respect, women respond to security. And there's many ways in which people try to condense and combine things, to just try to make sense of it and simplify it as much as you can. The reason why conversations about relationships are not easy to conclude and put in a bottle is because you sort of don't have a silver bullet, all right? And so you're looking at it in different angles. And that's why I like to one, go to the Bible because it's age-old truth. And I say truth, not facts, because facts change. They're circumstantial. Truth is truth. It lasts through all the ages. And then to look at people who have got truth and have ground truthed that truth. Okay, so that's why I like to refer to people like Willard Halley, and there's another that I would like to share. But in Willard Halley's study, affection, conversation, honesty, because men lie for three reasons. One, to protect themselves, Two, to protect the spouse. Three, some are just perpetual liars.
So when
Right?
you're protecting your spouse, it's a necessary lie.
That's what you call necessary lie, but it's a lie. And you can't have intimacy where there is no truth, because you need trust. And when there is no truth, you can't have trust. So you can't have intimacy. Are you seeing how Willard Halley is building this? And then there is a whole thing of financial support, right? Which is the safety piece that he's talking about. It's a need that women have, right? Because you are meant to protect and provide for them as the man. Okay, so there, again, at some point we're having a conversation with Peter. These days we have too many conversations. But in Numbers chapter 30, the Bible talks about when men vow before God, he doesn't expect you to change your vow. You must do exactly what you vowed. When women vow, and a father hears the vow that a lady has made, and he doesn't agree, a father can cancel the vow, and God would honor that it's cancelled because a father said no. Then when she gets married, if she has a vow and the husband hears it and cancels it, God will still honor that it's cancelled because he respects the husband. So you'll see that in a woman's life, she's always under authority. There's authority of her dad, and then there's authority of a husband, which is round about the same, at least from a biblical perspective.
So
Okay?
women have no access to the father.
No, I'm not saying they don't have access. I'm talking about cover and authority. So the point I'm making is this, is that it's important that, and the way Willard Halley puts it is that it's not like she wants you to have all the money in the world, but she wants to know that you can be able to provide enough to take care of the family without her necessarily needing to work. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about the toothers and crocodiles and all those
I was
guys
about
you
to
talk
tell you
about.
to clarify.
And then the last need that women have is family commitment,
Yeah.
right? To the kids and the family. So when you stop to think about it, it's like how when you say, but these women, they like money. And then they will say, but these men, they like sex. Don't you? You do, right? So I think that we just need to recognize that the way God patterned us, there are roles we play. If you're a good husband, right? You take care of the family. You take care of your wife. You provide the basics at least, right? It's what your role is. So you can't say that they love you to do the role when it's your role.
I think that's why arranged marriage
all
as
right.
well.
Now, guys, unfortunately, we're running short on time. And as we wrap up, Agaba, and part of your parting shot, I need you because you have circumvented around this one. Is there anything like a necessary lie?
Yes, there are necessary lies to protect a relationship. I believe there are certain circumstances where the truth will only make it worse. And that's a fact. As a leader, as the head of your home, your job is to shield people from certain elements of the world that may attack you. So, will knowing this uncomfortable truth make my person's life better in any kind of a way? No? Then maybe she doesn't need to know that one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I would rather close with this. I hope I've answered your question properly. we talked about girls liking bad boys, right? Except for Faisal over here, we're all sitting here with gray hair and our beards and on our head and stuff like that. If you are of the demographic where you have gray hairs and all of that stuff, you're not a bad boy, you're a bad man. You're just a bad human being.
Yeah.
No one is going to have a successful relationship with a guy in his grown age who doesn't prioritize being of service to helping somebody live their best life. As grown men, as husbands, as fathers, ultimately it's your job to submit to being the person who creates your life and creates a system as a leader which allows other people to thrive and flourish under your guidance and stewardship, under your provision, your protection, right? There's so many rich guys out there who can provide rent money, but their women are emotionally insecure, so you're not really providing security. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to make sure that we clarify that while men do love respect and treasure respect and women want security, I think simplifying it to money is not necessarily an important tactic. I think we should all just make sure that as we continue to focus on having intimacy with your partner beyond sex, think about how you can give, how you can be of service to creating the holistic life that you want. And the more you're willing to play your role, the more your partner should be willing to reciprocate. And chances are you'll have a greater chance at success.
All right, great stuff. Colin,
Yeah.
your parting shot. Bad boy or bad man.
You know, these guys who live in the ideal world, they don't know that out here we're living with hyenas. Not me, but like, you know, people in Kampala. They're living with hyenas who are just takers. So you're giving, and you're in a situation where a big issue about where we come from, and I think it's one of the things we've been so Peter, one of the things we've been exploring is this transitions theme, right? It's been a big theme in this, you know, season 1 return of NTV Men, where we talk about men who are in transitions in their lives, men who are transitioning, who are at crossroads, who are unsure what to do. And I think that one of the things that we really need to talk about is this idea about men who are, so when it's in a perfect scenario and it's picture perfect, it's like this. The man provides, the woman respects, everyone submits, everyone's happy, right? But in a less than perfect environment, like you got, like Kampala's potholes, you have a nice car, but the road is there to betray your shock absorbers. And I think that a lot of people are in these situations. There are a lot of, and people will tell you, I think they'll come back in the comments online and they'll tell you, there are a lot of guys who are in situations where they're not providing. They're not doing the bare minimum. They're dodging, they're running away from responsibility. But also there is guys who are doing all this work and they're pair bonded with hyenas and irresponsible people and people who don't want to come through and they don't want to do their part and they don't want to be intimate and they're making people raise children who are not theirs. Like there's paternity fraud all over the place. Every time you talk about that, there's social tension. It's like, oh my God, don't test the children. This is where we are, right? Yeah. Every single time. And I say that to say, your job isn't, my advice to men is your job isn't to have a relationship with all of society. Yes, you're in the society, but that's not who you have a relationship with. Know your person. Know your person. Know what's in there. Know what's in that box. What's in that basket. Because knowing what's in there allows. There are people for whom these things aren't important. There are people whose partners are emotionally insecure, and so you have to go a little bit extra to make sure that particular jar in the basket is full, because it fulfills a certain need and a certain hunger. And I think that when you do that and you meet that person's need where there is lack, they feel more fulfilled than when you just take a one-size-fits-all.
Yeah. All right.
And that's
cool.
Close.
Great stuff. Faisal, your parting shot in under 1 minute.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no, 1 minute.
We're out
no.
of time.
I would be off the show. My parting shot is, well, I was, at the time I was really, there's a book I was reading, I can't really remember, but the author said if every relationship was the way men treat their friendships, then people would die as best friends. And ideally what she meant is men might actually be the more intimate species when you compare it to women. Because when you look at men, men will have friends for 10, 20, 30 years. And it doesn't have to be 5 friends, just 2 guys. Yeah? They've grown up, they're at campus together. Probably they don't talk that much, but they sincerely have a deep connection. I know Colin is this to me, Colin knows I am this to him. Yeah? This is what I want to tell people out there. Be sincere with yourself. Not just every other aspect of your life, but even with your relationship. Because you see, I come from a school of thought of do your part, leave the rest to God. When you go to work today and the AC is not working, it's not an excuse for you not to work. Yeah? You still have to work. Even the next day, whether your boss is bad or not, you still have to work, put in 100%. And that's how I personally look at relationships. I'm not going to approach it with this point of view of, but what is she doing for me? Okay, now I've bought chocolate 20 times, how come she hasn't? You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because I've learned from a very early point in life, if you do something expecting a return, you're not really being intimate. You haven't done it because you sincerely want to do it. So it's a facade. You're taking out on dates because you want sex. You're doing A, B, C, D because you want C, F, G. That's it.
All right. Chris.
2 quick things.
Yeah.
1, I recommend that you go for the supply economy as compared to the demand economy. Be a giver. The reason why I refer to his needs, her needs, that book has helped us as a couple and so many friends of ours who are now married 20-something years. I've been married 21 years. That book has helped a lot. When you understand his needs, you're able to meet them. When you understand her needs, you're able to meet them. Supply economy. That's what love really is, because intimacy is a subset of love. And the second thing I'd like to say is, I think that the question, yes, you framed the question, intimacy beyond sex. How about if we actually said intimacy because of sex? And here's what I mean. There's 2 great books written by a couple. One is, you guys were talking about bad guys, but there's this book. It's called The Good Guy's Guide to Great Sex. And then there is another book by the wife, Sheila Gregory. It's called The Good Girl's Guide to Great Sex. Great books I recommend. Really, really good books. And the part of the premise is that a bit of what Faisal had intimated, that for you to have physical intimacy, it's a build. Emotional intimacy, spiritual intimacy, and that builds into great physical intimacy. And I don't see how that can be done without the boundaries of marriage and the confines of God's word. So that's what I recommend.
Cool, great stuff. So, but somebody might pick your words and decide, so sex is where it begins. Let's start with that.
That's not what I said if you are listening to me with 2 ears.
It's easy for somebody to pick that up.
Read the books that I've recommended.
Okay. Now, we are here at Sangha Courts. We've been having an intense discussion about intimacy beyond sex. So, decide which economy are you in. Are you in the supply economy or the demand economy? Have a good night, take good care of yourself, and we will see you next week, same time, only on NTV.